Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now, here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
Hey Doc, want to start a successful social media marketing campaign that will get you anywhere from 10 to 45 qualified new patients contacting you for appointments? Of course you would. You probably already have been shown how to do it, so why haven't you implemented? Most doctors don't have the time, and they don't care to spend the money trying to figure out what methods work. 3S Chiropractic Systems has put in the time for you and have been testing the methods for years, so if you want to surge new patients every month, that's it, right at your fingertips. The company is run by chiropractors with years of web and social media marketing experience, offering you a complete, affordable, done-for-you package. Get this system. It's swooping across the globe and is geographically exclusive, so find out right now if your area is still available. They offer full money-back guarantee for the first month, so there is absolutely no risk. Apply at 3schiropracticsystems.com/TCP to make sure you don't miss out. All right, TCP listeners, I got an incredible guest today, and that is actually Dr. Josh Handt. Dr. Josh, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing awesome. Very glad to be on the call with you, Dr. Ed.
Hey man, I'm so excited because, and I say that every episode, I really do, but I'm really excited because this is something I get to do. I get really pumped up about, and so we get to talk a little bit about what you're creating outside of just specifically the chiropractic, your practice, because I know you've got an amazing practice, which we'll touch on today too, but what you're also creating to expand outside that. So this is going to be a really cool conversation. Now, for those who are listening right now and watching, who don't know who you are, share a little bit about you as a person and as a chiropractor. And I see you really, truly as an up-and-coming leader in the profession as well.
I appreciate that. Well, I'll give you like the 30-second background. I was brought up as a second-generation chiropractor, from birth. I think that's what my parents at least thought about it. So I was brought up maybe differently than a lot of people, vaccine-free, ate mostly healthy most of the time, was pretty active. And the wild thing is as I evolved and went through schooling and in my undergrad, I had no desire to be a chiropractor, as crazy as that sounds. And all it took was a very fortunate mistake or problem, which really probably wasn't, which kind of led me to right back into chiropractic. I went from the business end of school and hit an anatomy class, and that was it, man. I fell in love with what I do today, daily in my office, where is saving lives as far as I'm concerned. And who I am now as a chiropractor and as a person that is loving what I do. I've got my practice in New York City. I have a home office, and I also have this thing called Lifestyle Locker and Lifestyle Locker Radio, which has been my new project, which I believe started almost 20 years ago in my head, and finally getting out now, and that's where I am.
So just so I'm clear here, I mean, you started out in like looking at, okay, look, I'm gonna take business in school, and then you shifted over to chiropractic.
Yes.
And so, would you say like how much is being attracted to and knowing? I assume you still are influenced in terms of like business. Like how important is that to running and creating a successful practice? Is it vital?
I think, yeah, well, definitely vitalistic and vital itself because, I was in the business world. I was in the marketing side of things. I was in the more creative side. So I was not the best person with math, so when I took my finance courses, I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And jumping into the marketing, I was like, well, this is cool because I actually had to think. And when running a business, a chiropractic business, I mean, you need to be able to have that creative side because I think that's where chiropractors really are, their heart, But you also need to have a little bit of that analytical side so you can track. And, if you track, you're more likely going to have some success.
Yeah.
You know where you're coming from, you know where you want to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can tell you, I mean, yeah, I took a few anatomy courses. Like I was looking at like paleontology and things like that. And so, yeah, it was really just the love of the love and the science behind the human body and physiology. And once I started to learn about that, and everyone else I knew was a chiropractor, it's probably similar to like you. It was like, it was like I got drafted right into the chiropractic indoctrination. So
yeah, fit right in, man. I loved it. Once I got involved, like, holy cow, I got to take all these science classes. Going from business and having to take science. Like I was ill-advised by the advisors in the school. You cannot take all of these classes in one semester in the summer. I said, no, I will. I will, and I'll make it through.
Yeah, I definitely can resonate with that. So we had a choice. You could do like a really quick, like go through chiropractic college really quickly. I think it was like 3 years, or you had a 4-year track. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do the 3-year track. And I think 50 people started in it, and 3 of us graduated on time.
Wow.
It's a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we acknowledge, Dr. Josh and I acknowledge everyone who made it through chiropractic college. So let's head right into an affirmation, a quote, some words of meaning that you would like to share with docs today.
So something that my father was an avid reader and still is an avid reader today, and he would give me these great books. They were thinking books, like from like a Napoleon Hill books to never really health, but more books that made you think. And I don't remember where this quote directly came from, but it's in my head all day, every day, and it's, I'm always at the right place at the right time. Abundance is simple and natural to me in all areas of my life. And that's just like, I hear it in my head. I say it, but I hear it all the time.
Abundance. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of chiros come from a place of lack?
I think that's runs rampant in our profession. I really do.
Not enough.
I really do.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah. We talk about not enough new patients, not enough ROI, not enough, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, thank you for those words. This is perfect timing for that quote for someone I'm sure who's listening today. And we are like our motto, like we're all more alike than we are different as chiros. And one of the things that binds us as chiropractors, well, there's 2 things. Number one is that we all want to help and serve more people and impact lives and health. But one of the other things is we all have struggle. Like literally, we've all had to put the Teflon on, right? So tell us about it. Tell us about a time where you struggled, where you fell flat on your face. You had to eat struggle for lunch. Tell us about that one time, what you learned from it, and then how you apply it to your business and life today.
So my struggle, I'm actually going to take it outside of the chiropractic box for this story. I feel that I ran into chiropractic and didn't know everything about the business, but my energy I feel and my excitement kind of brought people in the door, and obviously taking massive action to do that. But my struggle, started maybe a couple of years ago, where I had this passion for almost like 20 years, really, to start a company where I could drive people to natural health care, drive people to chiropractic. And I got squashed early on, thinking about it. And my dad's like, oh, there's management companies, there's things that go on where people will help, bring patients into your office eventually if that's where you want to go. And I said, all right. And, fast forwarding through like transitioning into a chiropractor, where that kind of thought kind of faded away, to now creating this lifestyle locker. And this is where the tragedy for me in my head comes through is this the biggest damn fear to do something one you have no idea how to do. And for me, that was use my voice. And, to want to be on the call with you today is like nothing I would ever have imagined. But it was, I don't know if it was a friend or someone said, listen to this podcast. This chiropractor is pretty cool. This guy, Dr. Ed. And I never listened to a podcast in my life. So I picked it up. I'm like, man, this has got to be the way that I can share what I want to share with people. It's almost free, right? So I did my research, and then speaking to you was the next step. And then fast forward a little more, I like held my finger near the start button, probably for like 3 months or 4 months, too long, because I was scared shitless of, will people not like me? Will I completely just fall on my face and fail if I don't start? So my biggest failure is really just waiting.
Yeah.
It's just being like a chicken shit, pardon my French, but man, it sucks. It was scary. And I've read books and stuff, and like, how much does waiting cost? For me, financially and spiritually and mentally, but also for the people that I actually could be impacting.
Yeah.
So that's and now that I look back on it, I'm like, holy shit, I should have just started. Like then just started, but it's okay. I'm where I am because of that.
And I mean, that's what it's all about, is execution and starting. And I hope that, the listeners are they're docs, they're, that they really appreciate that. Like we don't like, let's have 1,000 chiropractors doing what we're doing, getting on iTunes, flooding iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and with our message. And then, I mean, we'll no longer be the alternative, right? We will be, quote unquote primary. Like, I mean, it's, I mean, and I truly believe that, but I mean, I want to acknowledge you too, Doc, because, I get on calls every day with people, like with chiropractors, and they're like, Ed, I've been thinking about this for 12 months. That's one of the first things they say, or, I was afraid to do it. And whether it's, a podcast, or whether it's just getting on Facebook and doing Facebook Live and just sharing your message. I mean, I think that, like you said, it's a lot of that type of marketing, a lot of getting your message out there. It's free these days. It's absolutely free. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we really could run the digital, if you will, airwaves, because, we know the other side of the fence owns the other media. So this is our place to, get that laser focus and share. Anybody could hold up a damn phone now, right? and do a Facebook Live. Just got to get the balls and just do it.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, that would be my advice. I would just do it.
Could you imagine every time someone goes on Facebook, they have no choice but to watch a chiropractor talking about chiropractics on Facebook?
Yeah, well, maybe it'll drip in. I mean, what's that like titration rule? Eventually something will stick.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it is. And this is a perfect transition into, the lifestyle locker. Like, tell us a little bit about the vision behind that. Tell us, how you're actually starting to get that message out there. And this will be like 3 questions. And then I want to hear about some of the content you're creating. Because I mean, you have a podcast, it's out there right now. People are downloading.
Yes, exactly. So the vision behind Lifestyle Locker is kind of like what I mentioned before, is really to drive people to natural health care. But it's actually a lot bigger than that. Lifestyle is a big word. Lifestyle just doesn't mean how much I eat or how I eat or if I exercise or not, or if I see a chiropractor or not. But it can go into everything from mindset to relationships to money to all of those 3 other things. And what I find and what really made me want to dive into all of these areas, which is almost too much in my head at this point, but what made me do that, because I can go on the internet. You can go on the internet, we can type something in like, nutrition, and we'll have 7 million different nutrition programs. Everyone is better than the next. Yeah. And fitness, same thing. So my research is, and I've been searching out and finding people in those areas that are experts, because I'm not the expert in any of those areas. Right? I'm finding people that are experts that I can bring in. I can have an interview just like we're having now, and share them with the community, creating a website, which is what we're doing, where we can put these people so they'll go to lifestylelocker.com when that's up, and they'll go, you know what, I want to go into the mindset locker, and they'll be able to touch base with, experts in each piece of this field and go, oh, I like this guy. I like that girl. And so they're going to get truth bombs, in a very simple way, rather than going down a rabbit hole and getting completely lost in like the nutrition world or whatever it may be, and then they forget about every other aspect of their life and health. But I think as chiropractors, we'll do that, certainly. But society, I think, does that as a whole. It's like, I'm only into CrossFit, or I'm only into X, or I'm only into this, and you're missing the picture, man. Lifestyle is a lot bigger than that.
Yeah.
So that's my vision and mission, and the people we're bringing right now. I was on 2 interviews right before this call. And my God, I mean, I'm like old school. I'm taking, like you probably do it. Like, I take paper notes. I'm like, holy cow! Even though I can listen to this right after, but I think yeah, you go, right. the knowledge that I think that people are going to get, that the public is going to get. I mean, chiropractors will learn from this too, but the public is going to start to realize that there's a truth out there that needs to be heard, and they're searching for it. They just don't know how to find it because it's kind of under all this smoke and these clouds of bullshit.
Yeah,
it really is. So I want to kind of cut through that and have a home where people can go and connect with all of these other experts, and then learn a little more. And then maybe they can dive deep into little pieces of that.
I got to tell you, I mean, podcasting has changed my life, the trajectory of my life. And I think a lot of chiropractors who are listening right now don't appreciate that it's not just about getting your message out there. I think I've done 272 episodes now. So, wow. I mean, let's say it's an hour on average. Some are longer, some are shorter. 200, that's 11 days. Like if you pushed play and went through all of them, that's 11 days of listening.
Holy cow. It's a lot.
But here's what I want docs to realize, and you to realize too, Dr. Josh, is that imagine if you could sit there and talk to those people who could just download information. Like you have 60 minutes to ask them anything. I mean, it's like getting 11 days of mentorship. You know, talking to Jack Canfield, to Grant Cardone. I mean, those people that you would never get time with. So, like I know you spoke to Garrett Gunderson today. I mean, imagine what you'll be like in 12 months after you've had the ability to get really essentially free coaching from all those people. Yeah. It's insane. It's big impact. So I want everyone to appreciate that. Yeah. It does take some effort and some work. So yeah. It's
totally. Yeah. You gotta put the work in. You really do. But it's so far, I mean, it's for me right now, it's worth its weight in gold. And I can't imagine how much gold will be coming down the road too from this. Yeah. I can't wait to see where you're going to be in 3 months. And so what I'd like to do is actually make sure that everyone can actually get access to Lifestyle Locker podcast as well. So what we're going to do, just like we always do, is we're going to actually have a webpage dedicated to our discussion today. So it'll be at thechiropracticphilanthropist.com, and that'll be dedicated to Dr. Josh. And we will put the link in there specifically for your Facebook page. So yes. I want everyone, click on the link, head over into the Facebook page, like the page, follow, make sure you click follow. And then when your website is launched, if it's not launched already in a couple weeks, then they can actually join and they can start listening. We'll drop in the iTunes. Please go share, listen, subscribe, and rate and review so that Dr. Josh gets as many listens and impacts more people, because everyone, I don't know if everyone realizes, but the more shares, likes, and rates and reviews on iTunes, the more people he can impact. So what I want to do is take us into our segment, the cheesy segment where we call it Back to the Future, Dr. Josh. So this is where I'm going to put you into the TCP time machine. I did this with Dr. Fabrizio Mancini yesterday. He laughed. He thought it was hilarious. So I'm going to put you in the time machine, and I'm going to send you back to a younger version of yourself, an even younger version. And it's going to be right after you came out of chiropractic college. You have all the experience, life experience, knowledge you have today. What would you say to that younger self? I would say, you done good. You got all the skills you need. And you're going to learn a heck of a lot more as you start practicing. But what you need to hone and what you need to start right now is owning your voice. Your voice is the only way to get to the people. You know, I've heard the quote, and this is where I probably give myself, would you rather adjust one person or tell 1,000 people a message? Like, what's more important? Yeah. Obviously, the one person, for them, that's more important for them. But if we can disseminate truth to people, go ahead and do it. And, let's say 2006 is when I graduated. I don't even know, were there podcasts in 2006? Oh, yes, I think there were. Okay. Just maybe, I think so. Maybe early okay. On. Or not, or like YouTube or something. I would have said, you know what? Get yourself in gear and do a video every single week on something related to chiropractic and health and lifestyle and vitalistic thinking, because where would we be today if we all started this when these mediums started? And it's going to be crazy, because there's going to be some insane changes in how we communicate these messages in the next 12 24 months. Like, if docs are just kind of a little bit just getting on board with Facebook Live right now, wait until you see what's coming in the next 12 to 24 months. It's crazy. And what it means for us as chiropractors, it's going to mean that we can reach even more people.
So I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited for your future. Yeah. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Invaluable resource. So this is anything that you are listening to, reading on your nightstand that you're like, hey man, everyone who's listening right now, they got to go and get this.
Okay, so one is something I read like from when I was a teenager, which I think every chiropractor needs to read, because like we said, they have that piss poor money mindset. Most people have that lack mentality. Get the book Think and Grow Rich. It's timeless, by Napoleon Hill. And another one, which is really cool, which I read a few years ago, which I still kind of poke through here and there, is called The Rise of Superman. And that's by Stephen Kotler. It has nothing to do with Superman, but it has to do with human potential. And each of us as chiropractors, I mean, I want to kind of think of us as like limitless. You know, if we're really owning the lifestyle we teach and preach to people, our potential, you know, is way higher than your average person. It really is. And poke through that book, because you're going to go, holy cow, we can hone in and learn how to hone into these certain things that are going to make us like be like energy bombs. So that's what I would recommend.
So Dr. Josh, it would not be a TCP podcast or a webinar if my dog didn't bark. So
love it, man. Love it.
That's
why I didn't say anything. I just expected it to happen anyway. So,
yeah, well, that's how it rolls. But I want to thank you so much for sharing. So everyone, again, head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We'll have a webpage dedicated to our discussion today. If you're on your mobile, go ahead and actually expand open those show notes. All those clickable links are right there. You can connect with Dr. Josh. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing today, you know, your life experience.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm glad you asked me, man. I love it.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.